Welcome to the podcast. It's your boy Lou P along with the lovely Jocelyn.
Hey, everybody.
What's going on? And of course, absent. Well, we got to give it up to him all the time.
Of
the
course.
man is grinding.
Yes.
Our man, DJ GOC. He's
Yep.
out there working the beat. So, of course, he's always he's always here with us. So, but today we're going to talk about, now I know some of you might have heard our podcast about the first half of Infinite Crisis on the CW with the Arrowverse. Well, Joss, today we get to summarize it and kind of get to the point where we're at right now currently with the Arrowverse. So go right ahead.
Sure. So if some of you are wondering, I never heard that. What podcast? I didn't see it. Well, I'm going to tell you first where you can find it. So if you go to our webpage, the Everdaynerdpodcast.com, you will get to see our video, not videos, but you're going to get to see our podcasts that are listed. Also, if you go to iTunes and Spotify, I believe. Yes. We actually have our own podcast on iTunes and Spotify, and you can catch up with our other podcasts. So do check them out. Okay, so with the Crisis on Infinite Earth CW, I just gotta say, it's been now a month. They finished up the last 2 episodes for Crisis in January, and it's been phenomenal. I mean, overall, if you haven't seen it, please do check it out. I know that they're going to be creating, I believe, like their own video collection at the end of the season of just the Crisis. But, with the storyline and where we came from with that, with the 7 Paragons, if you're kind of wondering who were they, let me just rehash it. The 7 Paragons, it was Flash, Supergirl, Martian Manhunter, Ryan Choi, Lex Luthor, of all people. Who else do we have? We have Sarah Lance, Batwoman, and who else are we missing? I think I got it all.
I believe you did. No, it wasn't him. I know Barry's the Paragon. Paragon of Love is
That's right.
Barry.
I think I got it all.
Paragon of Honor. Ivory Town scientist Ray Choi. Paragon of Humanity.
Choi. I got it all.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I got it all.
Sounds like you did. And if we didn't, there's always the comment section.
But if this was a trivia question, I would have got it right.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so
and of course, our Spectre was Oliver Queen. Well, at the end of the Crisis, as most of you already know, that Oliver finally died. I mean, this was the final ending for Oliver Queen. And now, post-Crisis, he truly has created the Arrowverse. Figuratively speaking, he was in his final battle with the Anti-Monitor, and through his powers and through the rays of hopes, actually I called it the Care Bear stare. If any of you are like, what do you mean Care Bear stare? Look it up. Look it up in YouTube, the Care Bear stare. But with the 7 Paragons, they were on that mountain, and all they had to do was just stare. While Oliver was, fighting this kind of action. I'm so used to Oliver with his arrows. Psh, psh, psh. Yes. But with him, they were just holding on to each other like this. Mano y mano.
Yes.
And all he did was look up to the sky, and like this whole new rebirth happened. So now it's called, he just pretty much reset the earth. And then the last episode, all of a sudden it's a new earth, new timeline. People who were gone were brought back. And so kind of made us question, like, wait, who did return? Well, from that last episode, also with Oliver's funeral, we found out that his mom, Moira, she survived. Tommy Merlin survived. Even Oliver's half-sister, she survived. So it gives us, also hope, like, who else has survived? So after post-crisis, we've now had, like, this new timeline. Lex Luthor is now, like, he's viewed as a champion. He's the president, right? Mm-hmm. He was the president. He also owns the DEO.
Yes.
Right? And Supergirl, what happened? So now it's just the fallout, like, wait, what happened? So now all the different Earths have now joined. It's now called Earth Prime. And, they're like, wait, what does this mean? So that means that the Flash, Supergirl, Batwoman, they're all on the same Earth. Black Lightning, they're all on the same Earth. And so that means it's going to be interesting because we're going to get to see some crossover, maybe some mini cameos as we move forward. And actually, it did happen where in the first episode of Flash, Diggle showed up. Diggle showed up in Barry's, in Flash's first episode back. But that's kind of like where we are now. And before, at the last part, that was the coolest part of the crisis, is now the Super Friends. And I don't know if they're going to exactly be called Super Friends or Justice Society of America or Justice League of America. We don't know. But that final tribute, it was so cool because they still have their warehouse, which it hasn't been named until later on. We find out through Supergirl that's now called the Hall of Justice.
Yes.
But what was so cool was that with the not the Seven Paragons, but with the latest Super Friends were left, including Black Lightning. He was there as well. Is that Barry he had this nice space, and he said, "Ta-da! I have a surprise for you," and it was this nice table with the stars.
Yes.
What'd you think when you saw that table and like all of those, with the founding members of this group?
Yeah, I have to say, just going into the final, I'll get to that in a second. But it really, I was intrigued in what was happening. I was on the edge of my seat, like, okay, what's going to happen now? And like Joss broke it down, that's exactly what happened. And it was just interesting that we got to the point where Joss is at right now, how they're doing the tribute to Oliver Queen, and they actually the Green Arrow, and then Barry goes, "Hey, I got a surprise for all of us." And what's great is, as you're hoping it is it. You're like, "Oh, is this it? I hope this is it." And when he pulls the cloth off the table, and everybody has their own chair, everybody has their spot. It's like, this is your spot on the team type of thing. Yeah. And it was cool how, of course, they left the chair open for Barry, which is good.
No, for Oliver. You said Barry.
Oliver. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Left the chair for Oliver, and where it is, it's facing the costume. Yeah. Which is really all symbolic. That was just so. I was like,
and it was cool because when they did the tribute, I mean, Sarah got to say her last words. Kara got to say her last words, and Barry, and then Black Lightning, who was like, "Wow, he sounds like a really cool dude," because he never got to meet him. He never got to meet Oliver, and I wonder, kind of like, what would have been Oliver's reaction to meeting Black Lightning? I mean, it was just hilarious that Black Lightning's like, "What is this? And who are you people? And Superman's real? What?"
Yeah, no, that was kind of cool how they would, all of a sudden you could start throwing all this stuff out. And what's really interesting, like you mentioned, Joss, the fact that they're at the Hall of Justice now, and if you looked at who was there, you had Supergirl, Superman.
Yep.
You had Flash. You had Black Lightning.
Yep.
And am I missing?
Batwoman.
Batwoman was there. So of course,
and Sarah Lance. So the White Canary.
So White Canary's there. So all these people are there, and so you got to figure. I'm just throwing it out there. Next year's crossover. I mean,
it could be this.
President Luthor has...
No. I think it's this.
Oh, you think it's going to be something else? What do you think it's going to be?
Okay, so...
I'm going to have one theory. You go ahead and you have yours.
All right, I'm going to say it's because with the final series finale of Arrow, right? They buried Oliver, and they did their tribute, and also they had the one last hurrah where the whole Team Arrow from past and present had to go looking for William because William was kidnapped, and it was Mia from the future who actually found her brother. But at the very end of the episode, John Diggle was they were going to move because now Star City has been saved, right? It's saved. So Lila from Argus got a new job, and they're moving the help me out.
Metropolis.
And so they're gonna be like neighbors with Clark Kent.
I'll be hanging out with Clark and Lois.
Yeah, that would be cool. But something came from the sky. Don't you remember? Didn't you see it? It came from the sky.
That's right. I do recall.
He was like, "Wait, what's that?" He opens it up.
Oh yes,
boom, emerald green light.
Yes.
Right,
That's
and
right.
he didn't say anything about it. But they also, when they showed the different Earths that did survive the crisis, we did get to see the world of the Green Lantern Corps.
Because now you mentioned that about the ending.
Right.
Did you pick up on all the other Earths that are now created?
Yes.
On what? So you just broke down one.
Right.
That you saw some lanterns.
Right.
What about some of the other Earths we saw?
I don't watch the other ones, but I know Titans. That one got saved. Is it Doom Patrol? Is that a show?
That's why I think
that got saved.
They showed like 3 or 4 different Earths that were saved.
The Brandon Routh Superman. Brandon Routh Superman.
He was saved. Yeah,
the
he
Kingdom
got
Come that we kind of nicknamed them Kingdom. That got saved, and then we had Earth Prime. So it's like 5.
So to piggyback that, I was going along with you.
Okay.
I'm with you on that, but I'm thinking. Okay, so obviously, I think guy's gonna be fitted for a ring or something.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later. But being that, let's say he is fitted for a ring, and he comes back to the Justice League, right? You got President Lex Luthor, and he's looking around, and he's saying, "Wow, there's a bunch of guys in costumes, a bunch of heroes. Maybe I need to get my group going." So, I'm saying it. Maybe I'm revealing something. Maybe next year or 2 years from now,
Legion of Doom.
The Legion of Doom against. They can all that only has to happen. That really has to happen. And the great thing about it with the Arrowverse CW, they will let it happen. They will make it happen.
Well, hello. Who did they bring in from the DCEU? It was Ezra Miller.
Yeah. See, now that was an interesting twist too.
That was wait,
let's
what?
talk about that.
What?
Let's talk about that.
I freaked out.
They brought him in, and they kind of
opened the gate.
They opened it to the whole. Hey, we're linked in with you now. See, so finally.
Yeah.
We've talked about this in previous podcasts, how finally they were able to do, and they're doing, the TV side is doing it smart.
Oh, yeah.
They are doing it correctly, where they're building it all up. Look, all this stuff didn't just happen in 1 year.
Right.
All the,
that was built. That was built in like different
seasons.
series.
Exactly.
And then the crossovers started happening.
Exactly.
And it worked. The crossovers worked.
That part of DC is going very well.
Oh yeah.
And if they could bridge it into the movies, then we'll start talking. Obviously later on we're going to be talking about other DC projects, but for now let's talk about
Ezra Miller.
Yeah, now that was a key that kind of opened it up.
I mean, just the fact that we were watching all the different cameos, and they said after the third episode, there'll be more cameos happening. Yeah. And so, as we're going along with it, all of a sudden it's like, what?
I know.
What? And if you're wondering, I had to shoot. I'm like, go watch my reaction video to that.
Exactly.
But I remember. Insane. And I was watching all these other reactors that I'm familiar with, and everyone's reaction is like, what?
That kind of blew me away when I saw him.
Holy crap!
That blew me away.
The two Flashes.
The two Flashes were looking at each other.
Wow.
And you know how a lot of folks would always be, oh, this guy'd be a better Flash, or oh, why did they bring him in? Now that you saw them both together,
I want to see them race.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. But I think it would be a tie either way.
Probably.
I gotta see it being a tie because
probably.
But now that straight up opened the door now for the DC cinematic universe.
Yes.
Now, hey, maybe they've been doing it right. Maybe they could just bridge it like this. With all those years.
Hope so.
Because I think that, just speaking out of the chute now, I think that since they realized they tried to do it, theatrically.
Yeah.
That they realized they were kind of shoving it a little too quickly to people. So, they did the Justice League movie to kind of counter the Avengers. That's obvious.
Yeah.
So they kind of
it's like a reaction movie, right?
Yeah, exactly. They didn't put a lot of creativity, a lot of thought into it. That's what I'm just saying, in my opinion. But with now all this that you've worked all these years with, now you're set to do something on the screen, which is great. And now that you bridged it, I think they're finally going to do something. Now, again, when it comes to the DC cinematic universe, I still believe you need proper writing and good directing. But I think they're set up kind of like when we were watching the Marvel cinematic universe. You see how they're getting set up for Avengers and all the other stories.
Right.
See, now that we've seen all the other stories, we've seen, obviously it started with Arrow. Mm-hmm. You brought in Flash. Then, Legends come in. And then
Supergirl.
Supergirl.
And we're going to have eventually Superman and Lois Lane.
Exactly.
And some people are, when they say, what, another Superman story? It's already been done with. But this time, what's going to be different is that this is a show with the two boys. So this is a family family show.
So they could really...
They've already casted. So they've seen it.
If they're playing it smart, maybe they've finally figured something out that, hey, it's like we're building up credit. We built our credit with the TV shows that we've been doing. Let's get that to get on the screen. Right. And here's my thing, okay? You mentioned it earlier.
Which one?
You said how your quote was, Oliver Queen finally died.
Oh, yeah.
How many times have we... No.
I want to say to the viewers, no disrespect, but I mean, come on. He's had 99 lives plus 99 lives.
That's my point. How many times have we seen this guy die?
Yeah.
Okay, now, I'm going to throw it out here. On the date, we're going to mark the date. Mark the date, folks. February 23, 2020. We will see Oliver Queen possibly in the cinematic universe, and it'll be Stephen Amell.
I don't know.
I'm telling you. I'm going to say that. I'm throwing that out because you know how many times this guy's died. And you know what's great about, doing comics and comic movies and stuff. And you and I understand about soap operas and stuff.
Right.
So a guy could die 3 or 4 times.
Look at Stefano DiMera.
Exactly. Don't get me started on that. You and I, we could do another show on that show. Maybe we will. We will definitely do something on that. We're going to talk about that. But that's the point. That is the point. What's great about comics is you could bring this guy back easily. But I get it. It's like, okay, he's done it.
Right.
Time to move on. It's kind of like Sean Connery when he did James Bond. Yeah. It's like, come on, all right, I've done it. But
you know what? I would, personally, I would love.
Yeah.
If it was an actual Green Arrow movie, I would love for Stephen Amell to continue because that's him. However, I know that through this whole casting rumors and stuff, they've already kind of wanted someone like the guy from, what's his name, Charlie? The one who did Son of Anarchy.
Oh, that guy to be the new Green.
Yeah, at least he's good casting for it. He's got the look for it. But and also what I love about Green Arrow, the way it was done on CW is so much grit.
Yeah,
I mean those fight scenes. I mean my favorite part was with Arrow was one of the last ones was the prison scenes. There was this major prison fight scene, and also the action director was it Banner or I forgot the director's name, but Bantam? I think that was the director. But you could tell that was his work. Yeah. I mean, his shots were just amazing. Whoa. That's what I would like to see in an Arrow movie because to me...
It's got to be gritty. It can't be campy.
It has to be... Yeah, it has to be gritty. But I don't want it to be so dark that it loses its...
Again,
I have a problem with DCEU. That's what I'm saying. I have a problem with them.
Yeah, and we'll discuss more about that
with the whole, but with the Batman, Superman's don't you be messing around with my Green Arrow.
Well, I mean, they already butchered those two guys, so here we go. But I'm just saying, in a way, though, when it came to Green Arrow or Arrow,
right?
It was a bit. If you looked at it, you would say, and that's what I did when I first started watching. It's oh man, this is like Bruce Wayne and Batman. A little dark. He's a rich kid, and he's got a lair. Maybe not a cave, but he's got a lair. All we needed to see was the Green Arrowmobile. We just needed to see an Arrowmobile.
I think so.
I mean, that's all we needed to see. I mean, he was rich enough to have one, right? But anyways, with that being said, I really think if they do this correctly, I think they could be set up to improving the DC cinematic universe by this. They could.
I hope
but
so.
But they got to stay true still with the TV shows.
Right.
Because you can't just all of a sudden, all right, and then boom, we're going to be on the movies.
Right.
Nah, you're doing it right now. You're at a good pace. Keep that going. And then slowly feed it. Slowly feed it.
Well, I also kind of wonder. I mean, now that they've also connected the movie to TV, then I was even picturing wait a minute, does that mean Gal Gadot can make an appearance as Wonder Woman?
That's what I'm
You know what I mean?
saying.
And then I'm starting to think, would that look right on TV?
Well,
You know what I mean, though?
remember
there's-
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? I mean, the first couple
That's true.
episodes, Nick
that would
Fury
be
showed
amazing.
up, Samuel Jackson
Oh my
showed
gosh!
up.
If that
So-
happened on the next crossover, I would. I don't know what I would do. I'd be
Yeah.
like, oh my
Exactly.
God!
Or, what's interesting, let's hear another conspiracy
What
theory. I'm
Bruce?
throwing out there.
What's the name? Ben
No.
Affleck.
No, not Ben Affleck. The new guy.
Oh,
who's
you
gonna
mean
be back.
Robert?
Yeah, him. See, that's why I can't even say his name because I'm just. But if you slowly have him, because look at the target demo for the CW.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you slowly introduce a cameo of that Batman there, see, you know what I'm saying? If
Yeah.
they do it right, you
It's
slowly
great
have
marketing.
Batman there. Exactly.
Great marketing.
You slowly have him there, and then, oh, by the way, next year he's going to be on the screen. That storyline will get to the screen.
Oh,
see?
yeah.
So don't be
I
shocked.
mean, I know
if
it's
you
going to
see
work with Ezra
him
Miller
there.
now
Yeah.
because now people saw him. They're like, whoa,
He may show up
see him.
again.
Yeah.
And I'm telling
Yeah.
you, I'm going to predict that you may see Batman appear because they need to give him some credit. And his demo is obviously the CW demographic.
That is true.
See, so that
is
would
true.
be, if that's the game, maybe I'm giving them ideas. I'm just telling them, you want to probably, because again, a lot of the hardcore older Batman fans, they're kind of not feeling it. They're coming into it like, oh, the guy from Twilight? Oh, are you kidding me? Well,
But it might work because when I think of Kate Kane
Mm-hmm.
and I'm thinking about what's her name, Ruby Rose,
Yes.
I could probably see them in having a dialogue.
Yeah,
be
exactly.
interesting.
Just he needs to make a
Because they're
cameo.
cousins.
Exactly. He just needs to make the little cameo, and that's it. That'll lead you into the cinema. Because think about that too. If you're DC, it's like, hey, we could finally get those kids to really go to this movie because he showed up on that show.
Oh, yeah.
He showed up on the CW. See, so that I'm just throwing it out there for DC.
Probably.
You'll probably want him to make an appearance. Doesn't have to be full-fledged, just maybe he's in a costume, maybe he's not, maybe he's just Bruce Wayne, just shows up. But I'm telling you, that would be the perfect way to get your demo. Because again, like I said, all these older folks, like myself and, longtime Batman followers, some of them aren't feeling him. They're just not feeling him. They're like the dude from Twilight. But if you could kind of bridge it, and then again, like we've said, the bottom line is the writing, the directing, and obviously we're going to count the actors.
Yeah.
If you play the character correctly, it'll work.
It'll work.
So
I think the writing, though.
Yeah, writing's key, but I think that would be kind of an interesting thing that they have a little weapon right there. If they are smart enough, just an appearance in Batwoman. Or when they do the next crossover, maybe an appearance. Sort of like what Flash did in this one.
Yeah.
Just a little taste.
Oh,
a little
it'd be
taste.
awesome. I mean, I would love to see the Legion of Doom.
Exactly. Now, look, you're already steered at that, oh, man, they're going to go back and forth a little bit on this.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. So if you do something with a little taste of Patterson being Batman on the CW, it could work.
It could probably work.
I can see that working.
That'd be kind of
See,
cool.
so,
That'd
yeah.
be kind of cool. There's a map of now the United States of where these different cities are located.
Yeah, I like that.
So that was pretty cool. So Gotham City's in the Chicago area. National City, I believe, is...
L.A.
Oh,
It has
LA,
to be
thank
LA,
you.
yeah.
Yes, in the LA area. Let's see, where else? Central City is like in the Midwest, isn't it?
Yeah, you could be right on that.
Central City is in the Midwest. And then I know
Freedom Town is in Georgia.
Is in Georgia.
That's supposed to be Atlanta.
But there was like other cities. Arrowverse. Oh yeah, Star City was like in the Seattle area.
Yeah. Which it is. Okay.
Yeah. So it was kind of cool to see that.
Mhm.
I love that piece. So now post-crisis, where are we now with the different? What has changed? What has really changed? Well, I'll tell you what has changed. Lex Luthor is now the president of the United States, and people adore him.
Yeah,
They
he's a
love
hero.
him. He owns the DEO. Which makes it really difficult. So Martian Manhunter, it was Martian Manhunter. He'd gone around to like to different compadres, as he says it, to all the other heroes, and given them what Wild Dog had said, a brain dump.
Yeah.
But now all those heroes are now aware of what had transpired before the restart. So they know, with Lex, he rewrote his destiny.
Yes.
So now, Kara and everyone, they're just like, oh my God, they cannot be in the DO. However, Martian Manhunter, it's now his focus to create this base called the Tower. Did you watch that in the Supergirl episode?
Yes, I did.
He said, come to my bookstore, which is like, whenever I see him and the crew, at the bookstore, it always somehow reminds me of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Okay, yeah. Probably it's an old set.
Right. but what's cool is that this time, Wynn was there.
Yeah.
And he said, wait, where are you? Where are you? He's like, hold on. And an elevator opens, takes them all up to the top. And so since Lex Luthor has now owned everything else in National City, there is now their own secret hideout, like the Arrow Cave.
Yeah.
That's now at the very top, and it's called the Tower. Yes. And so Martian Manhunter said, I figured we need a place where our super friends can meet. That was cool.
Was awesome.
That was cool. Yeah. That was cool because then it's like, super friends. So that's kind of like what's happening with that piece, and they're still continuing the storyline with that. And then with the Flash, there's some interesting thing. I mean, they still continue the story with them, and so now we've got and I think what they're dealing with, their big bad, is a terrorist organization called the Black Hole. Yes. I think that's what's coming up. But right now, I call her Big Bad Iris because we're seeing because the original Iris, she's been doing some investigating, and then she goes into this mirror, and so there's this lady called Eva McCulloch, and supposedly she's been stuck in that mirror. No, during the particle accelerator, the particle that happened from Harrison Wells, it blew up, and she got sucked into her mirror. That the dark matter has now combined her. So she has been in this mirror for 6 years. And it's just interesting. So now the Iris that is presently out there is a version of whatever came out of that mirror. So the real Iris is behind the mirror in this dimension.
Exactly.
And so it's kind of like, so that's happening on that. So, I mean, those are the kind of things I don't watch Black Lightning. I mean, I have Black Lightning on hold, and so I'll eventually watch that. But like with the Legends or those shows or Batwoman, not quite sure what's happened on that, but I know those are the post changes. But again, it's still exciting as far as what's going to be happening on CW. So I guess we just have to weigh it out. But so far, I think it's all good.
It is.
I like the mysteries. I love mysteries.
It's good lead-ins and everything. Yeah. Just one more point before we wrap this up about the Tower. Didn't you love how he put all their logos there too?
Yes, with the buttons.
Awesome. Yes.
I had to look at that, and they were all the same symbols on the chair.
Yeah.
It's like, if you need to reach us, just press the button.
Hit the button. It's a boom.
It's like, really? Cool. and I look forward to that. I want to see, because of this crossover now with the Earth Prime, I want to see some people in that tower.
Yeah. I'm pretty. That's what's so great about now having Earth Prime is that somebody will show up and you no longer have to do the, oh, well, Kara just came in from this Earth.
Right.
It's now, oh, well, Kara's, we know who she is.
Yeah, we went for lunch.
Yeah, exactly, type of thing. So I do like the combination of, where they're at now. And again, like you said, I am looking forward to seeing Green Lantern. Oh, did we say that? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we said that. Yeah,
we talked about Green Lantern.
Yeah, I really
believe they're going to... Another thing I was thinking about is this storyline of John Diggle and Green Lantern.
Yeah.
It could probably really coincide with the Superman story. Because they're both in Metropolis. Mm-hmm. And so, since they're neighbors, I think it could kind of work.
Again, a lot of the folks out there that do know about Green Lantern and the Lanterns, obviously he would be guarding a sector of the universe. So... hopefully it'll be Diggle's sector that we're going to see him guarding. We'll see some adventures and stories with that coming up.
But he flies, right?
Oh, yeah, he flies.
So he flies with Superman.
Yeah, exactly. He'll hang out with Supes.
So I mean, they wouldn't tease this and show, John with the
and it's kind of fitting. It's the whole green thing too. It's just the fact that he was hanging out with Green Arrow. Now he's going to be the Green Lantern. So.
Now, I guess lastly with Green Arrow, with the pilot that they showed of Green Arrow and the Canaries, with Mia being, the next Green Arrow, I do want it to succeed. I don't know if it's going to get picked up, but I just miss that Arrow essence. I do miss it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and it's kind of going to be a topic we'll talk about in other subjects.
If it shows up.
Yeah, we'll talk about in other podcasts in regards to having, your women being the
Right.
strong characters. So we'll talk
Right.
about that, and I'm sure it'll come up in our next podcast that
Yep.
we'll do in a few minutes.
Yep.
But with that being said, let's wrap this up. So we really think, if you haven't started watching the CW and any of this stuff in the Arrowverse, Joss and I both recommend you to start back season 1.
Oh
Arrow.
yeah, it's
You
just
know,
build.
I know it'd be like, if you really need something to watch and you haven't seen any of the stuff that we're talking about, we highly recommend it because it's very entertaining. And just the fact, or if you just want to come in now, the shows are entertaining now. So
Yeah.
if you feel like, oh, well, when they'll probably mention a character or a story that they did in the past, well, that'll be that, but just focus on the story that's going on now.
And I think if you did start it, you'll definitely get into it,
Mhm.
and it's fun because it's a good storyline, and there's a lot of humor, a lot of growth. It's I just love it. It's smart writing. That's what I think.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Well, she's Jocelyn. I'm Lou P. And there's GOC somewhere. DJ GOC is somewhere. So I want to thank you guys for taking a listen and a watch to our podcast about the CW's Infinite Crisis and what's going on
And
on the
post-crisis, yes.
Arrowverse.
All right,
care.
everyone. See you later. Bye.